Wormadam is one of those cards that's really cool, and everybody's been saying, hey Rahul, why don't you play it? Because it's got a really similar attack to Vespiquen, which uses Spear Revenge. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Rahul Reddy, and today we're going to be talking about my Wormadam list by popular demand, and a gameplay footage that I'll put on 2x and talk over the footage as we go, because I've already played it on stream, and it was like a 30-minute game, and it was a really good game. So we're going to talk over that game when I get a chance, but we're going to look through this list that I created for you guys to try out on your own. Wormadam is an interesting concept. It's got this attack called Matron's Anger, which says the attack does 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile for 30 damage plus 10. Pretty decent base. Obviously, you're not one-shotting anything off the bat, nothing crazy, but what makes this card so unique is there are 3 different Wormadam cards. There's a Fighting-type Wormadam, a Metal-type Wormadam, and a Grass-type Wormadam. But in the Pokemon trading card game, you can only play 4 copies of any card with the same name. So we have to kind of decide which Wormadams make their spot into our deck. 2 Fighting Wormadams automatically make their way into the deck because there's a lot of Pokemon in the format that have a Fighting-type weakness. 1 Metal to deal with some of those Ice Riders and some of those other pesky guys. I've got a Grass in here just because, you know, it felt wrong not to put one in. And Umbreon and some of those other Grass-type weak cards could kind of get punished, and we kind of cover some bases. Now, notably, we're missing a Dark-type weakness, which makes Mew VMAX a little bit hard to deal with. We've got 4 copies of our Burmy with the hang down. I love this art. It's just something I wanted to point out. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we got 4 copies of those. Now, continuing with the list, we have 3 copies of Minccino and 3 copies of Cinccino. Cinccino has the ability Make Do. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. This is going to be our primary draw engine in the mid to late game, as well as being able to put some more Pokemon in the discard without burning a supporter. So on turns when you use something like Boss's Orders to kind of bring something up, this is the card that kind of does its job. We've got 2 copies of Mew with Mysterious Tail. I'm not entirely sold on this card just yet, but in a couple of games I've played, it has been pretty useful, and it is our early game pivot as well as a card for us to put our Air Balloon on to kind of just pivot and play the game in that order. Mysterious Tail, once during your turn, if your Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal an item card you find there and put it in your hand. Now, keep in mind that it doesn't say supporter or trainer card, so it is only items, which means it's not as great as our Stellar Wish friend that used to exist, but here we are. We've got a 3/3 line of Zoroark. Zoroark has the Phantom Transformation ability. Once during your turn, you may choose a Stage 1 Pokemon in your discard pile, except for Zoroark, and replace everything that's on your board with that Stage 1 card. So keep in mind, don't attach anything to Zoroark. Don't put a Choice Band there. Don't put an Air Balloon there. Don't put, I mean, you can put an Air Balloon. I guess it's fine if you need to retrieve. But don't put an energy there because that's all going to go to the discard, and whatever's in the discard, that Stage 1's got to come back. That's why we can place so few cards of these Wormadams. This Zoroark acts as some of these Wormadams. It acts as a Cinccino. And it automatically puts 2 Pokemon. You're trading 2 Pokemon for 1, and they're going straight into the discard. Now, for our supporting staff, okay, we got a drag and drop, I guess. We've got is Oranguru, Primate Wisdom, which says you might switch a card from the top of your deck to your hand. So we kind of need that just to make sure we don't burn too many resources, like energy specifically. And we have a Lumineon V, which has Luminous Side when you play this card from your hand. Get a supporter, put it in your hand. We want to make sure we don't brick on supporters in the early game because we do have a lot of Pokemon in our deck, and fighting those early supporters is going to be tough. We also have a Crobat V with a Dark Asset to fill our hand to 6, and we're going to just use this guy to kind of fill up our hand and have a pretty greedy research play and just draw a lot of cards. We have the trainers now. We have 3 copies of Air Balloon and 2 copies of Choice Belt. These can be interchanged, I feel like. I have 3 copies of Air Balloon just because I don't want to get stuck in the active and attack when I want to attack. It's just going to cause our cheat cost to be 2 less. And we have a lot of Pokemon that are not, per se, the best attackers. Just our Wormadams and our Zoroarks that can become Wormadams is pretty much all our attackers. We have 2 Choice Belts, which do 30 more damage to V Pokemon, which includes V Star, V Max, whatever, you know. And I feel like you don't really need more than 2. It's just that early game damage and maybe a little bit of late game reach to get that one-shot. If possible, with only 25 Pokemon, it's pretty difficult to one-shot anything, actually, unless we're hitting for typing. So we're playing for 2 shots a majority of the time. We have 4 copies of Professor's Research. Just pitch and draw cards. I don't need to say more about that. 4 copies of Quick Ball. We can discard a card, get a basic Pokemon. Early game search. 4 copies of Level Ball. Late game, mid game, early search, whatever. Level Ball is also cool because it searches for our Cinccino line because Cinccino's got 90 HP. Everything else, you can just get the basics. Now, Quick Ball gets all of our support Pokemon as well as puts more Pokemon in the discard, so it's a necessity. And then with 4 copies of Ultra Ball, we can get whatever we want after that phase. That searches the rest of our deck and puts 2 cards into the discard. We play 2 copies of Collapsed Stadium to put our bench at 4 Pokemon. Our opponent also goes to 4 Pokemon, but this means we can get that Lumineon and that Crobat off our bench to kind of keep playing this one prize game, make our opponents take all 6 prizes, because if these Lumineon, these V Pokemon and this GX Pokemon stick on the board, we could be in a lot of trouble, just because they can mitigate the prize trade, and we could be 1 turn short of winning the game. We have one copy of Ordinary Rod because sometimes we're going to have to discard some stuff that we don't want to, and we need to put that one piece back to kind of keep the game going. We have one copy of Roseanne's backup. I feel like one Pokemon can change the game, one tool card can change the game, one stadium can change the game, and an energy can change the game. So late game, Roseanne's backup is a really, really good card to kind of just put those pieces back in your deck when you have a thin deck, use that Mew, get that piece you need, use that Cinccino, draw the rest of the cards in your deck, and all of a sudden, we've come and made a comeback out of nowhere. And in the video, we're going to see the gameplay footage. You'll see why this card is so good in this deck, and I could not have won that game without it. 2 copies of Boss's Orders, which I think is pretty staple across the board. I wanted a third, but I figured the most best stopgap scenario would be a Pal Pad to shuffle 2 supporters into our deck. Now, we don't have any shuffle draw, but I don't think we need shuffle draw. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards anyway. And the final piece to our puzzle is a Leon to get 30 more damage to kind of be a surprise factor out of nowhere. With the Leon and the Choice Band, we can go up to 60 plus damage, which can pretty much go a long distance. And we have 6 energies, 4 copies of Twin Energy, which just works on our non-basic or non-V, non-GX Pokemon to provide a double Colorless Energy, which fulfills the energy cost of Wormadam, and 2 double Turbo Energies, putting us at 6 total energy cards, giving us 6 total attacks if we need it, 7 with the Roseanne's backup, and the double Turbo acts as the same thing with 20 less damage. So in the late game, it's a lot less relevant, but in the early game, it could be a little bit of a problem. So we're only playing 2 copies of this. So that's the deck as a whole. I'm going to show you guys the gameplay. If you guys enjoyed this footage so far, remember to like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what other Billion Stars decks you want to see built. And this footage is all on Pokemon TCG Live, the beta that is currently going on right now. So you guys can get your first look at the beta and decide if you want to play the game or not. Let me know. And stay tuned for some fun stuff. All right, here we are, guys, with the gameplay footage of me playing Wormadam on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live client. So I played Wormadam against probably one of the hardest matchups and probably the best deck in the game, Mew VMAX. Here is what's going to kind of happen. The prize trade is going to be a 2 for 2, but Mew VMAX can always shuffle itself back in, which makes the game a little bit hard. Now, this is on 2x speed, and I kind of cut out the audio because I want to talk over the game, because I was a little bit distracted just talking to the chat while we were playing on twitch.tv/theflea. You can follow me there. And I opened the Mew. I was like, okay, this hand is pretty playable. We've got 3 quick balls. We've got the Air Balloon to pivot. We can kind of grab a couple of pieces, but we're kind of relying on this Mew to find us something, or we're going to have to grab a Lumineon and discard cards. Or we can grab a Crobat and fill our hand to 6, play a little more greedy, get that research, fill our bench, and then also bump the stadium with the Collapsed Mountain. Our opponent has a little bit of a slower start, so they're going to go ahead and just get the Mew. I'm going to discard and just grab myself a Burmy, guarantee a place to put down this double Turbo Energy, because energy is important. I don't want to just get rid of it haphazardly. I realize I'm like, okay, maybe it's better if I thin in this order, just make sure I can get some more cards. And I realized I messed up a little bit here because I kind of ran out of cards. I was like, wait, I'm 1 card short. I did not need to actually do that because now I'm going to have to get rid of the Air Balloon, which should have been on this Mew. So that's a little bit of a mistake on my part that I made, but I'm going to go ahead and grab this Lumineon because Crobat is not in the deck, unfortunately. I think I would have greeted for the Crobat and drawn 6 full cards. We're going to go ahead and get the Lumineon, get the research. And we're going to draw ourselves a brand new set of 7 cards. Another Burmy hits the board, and I'm going to go ahead and be able to Mysterious Sign. And I'm going to grab a Level Ball just to prepare for next turn. And I'm saying to myself, okay, my hand is a little bit dead, but I'm going to go ahead and just grab double Level Ball Minccino to bump this Crobat off the board. In case of like a boss play, I'm going to grab the Mew in case my Mew gets knocked out and I get the Lumineon off the board, I get to pass my turn. Now, if I was being a little bit smarter there and a little more conservative, I would have probably grabbed a Cinccino and just waited for the next turn to use the Collapsed Stadium to just kind of set up the board that way. My opponent gets the Alessa's Sparkle off, and you know, I'm a little bit of a tricky spot. I'm like, okay, if the Alessa's Sparkle comes in, that means I'm not getting boss, so this Burmy stays alive, and I get some free damage to pepper into this Mew. But the problem is, once I hit the Mew, next turn they can just use Psychic Leap and get out of the active spot, which kind of sucks for me. So yeah, so my opponent goes ahead and quick balls. He's starting to set his setup, I'm over here just like, why is there so much white space on the client? That's a problem for a different day. But Cross Switcher, a card I didn't expect to be in this deck. All of a sudden, my Burmy is no longer safe. I've lost an energy, I've lost a Choice Band, and I mean, I was going to give up the first prize anyway. In most situations, I give up the first prize. Unless I guess I'm playing a 1v1 prize versus 1 prize kind of meta. But most situations, I'll give up the first prize anyway. And I don't mind, because I don't want Pokemon in the discard. The goal is just to make them take those 6 prizes. If they hit a Mew VMAX here, then they could have been able to just take out my Lumineon and take 2 free prize cards here. And I'm really glad they didn't, which kind of helps out in a ton. So Rotom Phone comes through. They're just kind of playing their game. Mew is a deck that does whatever it wants most of the time. And it's the strongest deck in the format for a reason. I will cover Mew also if you guys want me to. I will leave it in the description below what decks you want me to cover. I have a ton of dust on the client, so I can make whatever decks you want me to make. I've got a Leon Zard deck as well, if you guys are interested in that one. I know people are. So we see the 70 damage, and obviously my opponent has no reason to shuffle back in. At this point, I thought I had a balloon on my Mew, and I was a little bit confused, but I realized I forgot I discarded it on turn 1. I was really distracted during this game, I won't lie to you. So we're going to go ahead and Mysterious Tail. I'm probably going to grab the Ultra Ball, just to get the... Oranguru? No. What was I going to grab here? Yeah, Oranguru was what I was going to do, and just flip my top deck. But I was like, maybe Cinccino is just better. I can draw some cards here. Maybe get a little bit lucky off my 2. And there's a research, and it's probably like the most perfect card I could have asked for. Now, note, I'm already like, I'm playing a little bit badly, and I'm discarding a lot of resources because I want to get damage into play. And I'm not using my Zoruas as well as I should be. So here's a Zorua hitting the board, and we're going to see just an end turn because I missed an energy card, which sucks. I'm going to give up the first 2 prizes. I don't even get an attack off. I don't get to put pressure on. If at least my opponent's being forced to Psychic Leap, that means at the very least they got to find those Alessis Sparkles turn after turn. They got to kind of play the game in a suboptimal way than they would want to. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen whatsoever. They kind of get to play the game the way they want to play it. And nothing changes for me. So there's the Cramomatic. They're kind of playing their game. I'm over here sitting going, okay, I have to probably go for like a 2-2-2 prize approach here if they go into a Mew VMAX. Because I think 180 and 190 is a much easier number to hit than this 310 that I'm probably going to... Like, if I ever hit into the Mew VMAX, they're just going to use Psychic Leap and get out of here. And that's going to make the game really hard for me. Because I just waste an attack, I waste an energy, I waste an attacker. And they can just keep doing that every single turn. They can just keep Psychic Leap looping. So I think my game plan in my mind was, I got to boss this Mew V on the bench this next turn. If I can get a good enough hand, I can maybe boss this Mew V, I can knock out this Mew V, then I can go kill a Genesect, and win the game. That has to be my strategy to win the game. So a Max Miracle comes through, a knockout from my opponent. I have the 3rd Balloon, which is absolutely perfect for this Mew now. This is why I like the 3 Balloon. I think it gives me options. And I top deck 8 Ultra Ball. I'm looking through my discard. I'm like, okay, I only have 8 Pokemon in here. That's really rough. I'm going to go ahead and use a Zoroark just to get another Pokemon in there. And I'm like, okay, I think I need to evolve into the Wormadam here. I get the Cinccino. I can go ahead and trade first, I think. I should have traded first. So we're just going to research. I'm counting. I get the Wormadam, which is good. But now keep in mind, I've already put a ton into the discard. We're swapping out the Wormadam. I attached the wrong one. I should have attached to the other one because that gives me more damage if that one gets knocked out. So I grab the Ultra Ball. We're going to go ahead and Ultra Ball. We get to draw some cards, and we get to Ultra Ball 2 more Pokemon away. Now keep in mind, I've pretty much exhausted my Zoroark supply. I think all 3 Zorua are now in the discard. So whatever Wormadams I have left for the game is what I have, which is... I'm hoping it's enough, but I think Ordinary Rod is also in the discard, which doesn't make it feel good any better for me. I get to see my opponent's discard, check it out, see what's going on there. I get to 2-shot this Mew if I want to. They do need 2 tablets, but he's got a Vitality Band, which is a card that most Mews no longer play. Because Choice Belt, Choice Band, whatever, is just better. So it's a little bit of an unfortunate scenario for me. Because if he has the tablet, he can just Psychic Leap, and I'm stuck. But he doesn't. And I don't promote the Mew for some reason. I'm just going to go ahead and attack. I literally top deck the energy because I'm actually the best. I discard another Burmy, which I think in hindsight is bad because now I put myself in a bad situation. And I'm like, well, I got to figure out how to win this game. I'm thinking, do I hit this Mew again? Or do I just bring up the Mew V on the bench, take 2 prize cards, prevent him from Psychic Leaping if he's missing a Mew, and the timer starts ticking. And I go, okay, maybe my best plan is to go 2-2-2. I've got a 4-card deck. I can boss now. I can Pal Pad here. And if I had thought this turn through a little bit, I would have just not gotten rid of my Burmy. But then I realized I'm hitting for exactly 180. I would have had to get rid of the Burmy anyway. There's no other Pokemon left in my deck. But this all stems again from the problem of the Wormadam earlier. If I use this Wormadam instead of the other Wormadam, I would have not had to get rid of the Burmy. Now we take the first 2 prizes. We get a double turbo and a Choice Belt. Choice Belt super, super good here for us. I was just showing off my manga, I guess. And then we have the rest of this game, which is... Okay, so the Peony comes through. Our opponent doesn't have... I mean, we're not afraid of anything here. We're just afraid of a Psychic Leap with a tablet. But now with the Peony, we know he can grab that. And now I'm like, fuck, I think we lose. He's going to hit us. I'm going to be able to boss. And I'm going to take the 2 prizes. But If I boss, I don't have a follow-up because I don't have any Zoruas left. You can see me, like, the wheel's starting to turn. I'm out of Zoruas. I'm out of Burmies. I'm running out of resources. I'm running out of pieces. What can I do to win this game? I exhausted one too many Burmies. If I just did not pitch that last Burmy, I could have won this game. I'm thinking, this Mew VMAX in the active, if he bounces it and just throws up this Meloetta, how do I ever win this game? I just get stuck. Like, that's a free thing. And then I realized, wait, he attached to the Meloetta. That doesn't seem right. I know you guys can't see it perfectly because it's too small, but he attaches to the Meloetta, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't seem right. What is going on here? So we see the Burmy attack. The Roseanne's back up in my hand. The wheels start to turn once again. I'm like, okay, I can get the knockout this turn with the Choice Belts and all these pieces. I'm like, okay, Roseanne's backup is going to come in clutch here. I get to put back a Zorua because I have one more Zoroark left in my deck. I need to find a way to draw into it. Choice Belt and a Twin Energy. So we're going to put all three of these back. Just make sure we have another Energy for turn, another Choice Belt for turn. And we're going to go ahead and Quick Ball to get the Zorua because I have the Quick Ball already. And for some reason, I traded the Choice Belt, which I don't think was correct because I needed the Choice Belt for the knockout. So I greeted here like super hard. This was just like bad. I'm never going to use this research again with 7 cards in deck. So using the research was wrong. But I guess with the trade, I guarantee the Choice Belt anyway. And I look at the damage I'm doing and I'm like, wait, I'm a little bit short for where I need to be. So we get the Choice Belt on there and we do the 170 damage, get the knockout on the Mew. And now I'm a single boss away from winning the game, because my hand is pretty stacked. Mew doesn't normally play hand disruption. Getting that Twin Energy Air kind of saved me, but I also have, my deck has 4 cards and there's 2 Twin Energy in the deck. So you can see how I expertly set up the deck. These games get really close with Wormadam. I can't promise you guys easy games with this deck, by the way. So I'm like really scared that I'm going to, do something. But he attached to the Meloetta the turn before. So I don't even need to find the boss. My 4-card deck is 2 boss, 2 boss, 2 Twin Energy. So all I have to do is literally use my make do one time and I can get whatever I want. So I've set up my deck to basically not lose unless they use Marnie. And even if they use Marnie, I can still win if I can find the Zoroark again. Like the Zoroark or the Crobat will keep me digging further, and then I can win off the back of that. But Mew doesn't normally play Marnie, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable about my spot. And even in the instance of a Marnie, I will see every card but 3. 3 cards I believe I will not see at the end of the day. So it had to be really unlucky to be the bottom, like 2 cards. And there we go. I was going to just like, I don't know what I was doing there, but I kind of like BM a little bit here at the end. So I do get the knockout here and I win the game. And so Wormadam wins the game for us. If you guys enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe. If you're a Wormadam fan, if you're a Vespiquen fan, if you're a Flareon fan, you know the drill. Leave Be Revenge, Vengeance, or Matron's Anger in the comments below so I know which one of a real fan you are. Lycanroc doesn't count. We didn't try Lycanroc. We could here. And leave any other decks you guys want to in the comments below so I can kind of experiment with those. But thank you guys for watching as always. I hope you guys enjoyed this PTCG Live content. Most of my content will be focused on here for the rest of forever, I guess, until the beta shuts down on me. So love you guys. Hope you have a great one, and peace out.